Is it just me, or is this Desmond Bane trade just absolutely bonkers? What is up, Grizzlies fans, Magic fans, shout out to my San Antonio Spurs fans, and NBA fans in general. Welcome to TSR Sports, and the question I have for you, did the Memphis Grizzlies fleece the Orlando Magic with this trade? I am extremely curious what you all think about it. I will answer that question in a few moments, as well as grading the trade myself. First, let's get into an article from TSR Sports talking about the trade, and they also grade the trade. The Orlando Magic receive Desmond Bane. If I can't break your spirit, I'll take your draft picks. The Grizzlies receive KCP, Cole Anthony, this year's Orlando Magic pick number 16. Then they get picks in 26, 28, and 30, and a pick swap in 29. All of those first-round picks are unprotected. No protection. Going in with no protection. Orlando Magic receive a B+ from CBS Sports. They say, the Magic adds some much-needed shooting depth and a guy who can do a little bit of everything offensively. Bane can also hold his own defensively too. The Magic ranked last in three-point percentage and just got a guy who is a career 41% shooter from deep. So they addressed it a huge need. They needed three-point shooting. They got some three-point shooting. The Magic gave up quite a bit for Bane, who, despite being a premier shooter, has missed an average of 25 games over the last 3 seasons. Whew, that's a lot. That's just a little under a third a season, guys. Durability should be a minor concern for Orlando, especially when the Magic have dealt with their fair share of injuries to Banchero and Wagner this season. Giving up essentially 5 first-round picks for someone who is a role player is just wild on face value. Now, when I saw the trade, I was like, am I reading this right? Yes, I was. If getting Bane doesn't vault the Magic into a top 4 team in the East, and you got to think the Celtics are going to drop with Tatum being injured and out for next season, the Celtics are going to have to cut a ton of payroll. So yeah, maybe they jump into a top 4 team. But if they don't, then this will look into a massive overpay. As far as the Grizzlies, they gave the Grizzlies a B. On paper, this is a sizable haul for the Grizzlies. I would agree there. The 4 first-round picks Memphis is getting, however, may not be that valuable down the line. Orlando set its own 16th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, as well as Phoenix's 2026 first-round pick, which could be of some value if the Suns bottom out, which is dependent on the return they get for Kevin Durant. I got to think the Suns are in absolute rebuild mode. They should be just blow it up, get a whole bunch of draft capital. They may suck next year. They probably will. There's a better chance of Memphis being a lottery team than Orlando over the next 5 years. Yeah, a lot of questions on that Memphis Grizzlies team. So the value isn't that great once you do some digging into the specifics here. All right, I think that's fair. Trading away Bane is a pretty big loss for the Grizzlies, but it may have been a necessity for a roster that, had it stayed the same going into next season, would have found itself in a similar position, which would mean making the first round of the playoffs and making an exit in the first round of the playoffs. All right, let's talk about this. The Orlando Magic, I've been reading, a big part of this trade was to get out of KCP's contract. He was set to make $21.6 million next season and $21.6 million player option the following season. All right, so you get out of that. They feel like they overpaid based on his performance this year. Okay, great. Needed three-point shooting. Check. However, it's very risky trading away this many assets for a player. We have seen that injuries can derail a team. Look no further than last season. The 76ers and Pelicans, who I think many people expected to be playoff teams, were both lottery teams. Injuries absolutely decimated both teams, and sure, that could happen with any team, but I'm just saying giving up all your draft capital over the next most of your draft capital over the next 5 years, if you're to have one season where injuries derail the team, you're not going to have a first-round pick. As far as the Grizzlies are concerned, the big question I have for them is Ja Morant. Can he return to the Ja Morant from 2021 and 2022, or is he more the player we've seen last year? If the answer is no, if he can't return to that all-star form, then I think the Grizzlies are going to be heading into some sort of rebuild. Are they going to rebuild around Ja Morant, Triple J? I don't know. Either way, they get a ton of draft capital in this trade. So in grading this trade, I'm going to give the Memphis Grizzlies an A. Bane was set to make $40 million a year. If you haven't seen the new CBA, there's so many penalties and taxes, etc. If you go over the luxury tax into the first apron, second apron, etc., they got Ja Morant on there, Jaren Jackson Jr. Maybe they're thinking future salary-wise as well. As far as the Magic concerned, give the Grizzlies an A. They actually gave them a good grade here. You guys may disagree with this. I'm going to, and that's fine if you do. This is just my take, my subjective, not correct opinion. This is not objective, just subjective. I'm giving the Orlando Magic a D-. They addressed some needs. They brought in some three-point shooting. But man, 4 first-round picks that are unprotected at that, plus a pick swap for a role player, a good role player. This is nothing against Desmond Bane, but a role player. I will never think that's a good trade. The reason being is this is the type of haul you should get. This is the type of the haul the Mavericks should have gotten for Luka Doncic. 4 unprotected first-round picks plus players. I'm not saying necessary from the Lakers, just in general. If you're going to trade that much of your future draft capital plus players, it should be for a franchise player, a player that you can build around. A role player is not somebody you're building around. They're building around Paolo Banchero and company. I don't personally like it, and we saw this with Mikal Bridges last year. This sets the precedent that role players are worth 4 to 5 first-round picks. Well, sets the precedent in some GM's eyes. I don't think so. Absolutely not. Hell, Orlando Magic, I'm a Spurs fan. If you guys needed a three-point shooting guard, we would have taken half of what you offered the Grizzlies for Devin Vassell. Heck, we probably would have taken 1 first-round pick and a player to ship him out. Just because his contract, I don't think it's going to work with the Spurs long-term. So, also, I said, did the Grizzlies fleece the Magic? I think so. I do. I know there's going to be Orlando Magic fans out there that disagree, and if you think it's a great move for Bane, then I am happy for you, and I hope it works out. I have no problems with the Orlando Magic. I'm a Western Conference team fan, so hey, go to the NBA. If you guys go to the NBA Finals with Bane and win a championship, congratulations to you. I will be happy to say I was absolutely wrong. I am one of those content creators, if you guys are new here, that if I'm wrong, hey, so be it. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. I don't say I'm wrong all the time, but as a Spurs fan, if I critique a player and say, hey, this is a bad move signing this player, drafting this player, I hope they prove me wrong. And I honestly hope this works out for the Magic. And since the Memphis Grizzlies are in the Western Conference, kind of hope it doesn't work out as well for them. But I do think this is an overpay. If the trade was KCP, Cole Anthony, and 2 unprotected first-round picks, I think that's more in line. Just my opinion. 4 first-round picks, no, way too much for a role player. Way too much. And it really opens gets you wondering, should I say, what's going to be the asking price for Kevin Durant? I've seen rumors that the Suns want the return that they gave out to the Nets, which would be like 4 first-round picks and players. A guy that's going to be 40 a couple years, but a guy that's aging with that kind of money, Kevin Durant for 4 or 5 first-round picks, I hope a team does not pay the Suns that because he'd be helping bail the Suns out. The Suns have given up so much draft capital to bring in KD. They've done a horrible job building a roster with KD, Booker, and Beal. This is going to be a crazy NBA offseason. This is the first trade, and it's already a doozy. And listen, wish you well, Magic fans, Grizzlies fans. If it doesn't work out for you, I'm not going to cry, but I'm not wishing bad things on any team. I'm not that type of NBA fan. If it works out for you guys too, great, so be it. I'm very curious. Your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. Grade both teams. Do you agree with the article? Both teams get a B? Or are you like me? Do you look at this and go, that's way too much for Desmond Bane? Do you agree with me that half the first-round picks would have been more reasonable? Cole Anthony, KCP, and 2 first-rounders for Desmond Bane. Very curious on your thoughts. Hit the thumbs up, like sports channel, and subscribe to become part of our awesome sports community. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go.